In a small village nestled among rolling hills and vast forests, there lived a man named Obi. He was not just any ordinary craftsman. Obi was a master of his trade. His hands had the magic touch, and every piece of furniture he created was a testament to his talent and dedication. Whether it was a sturdy oak table, a finely crafted wooden chair, or an intricate bed frame, Obi's work always stood out for its elegance, strength, and uniqueness. His reputation spread far beyond the village, and people from neighboring towns and even distant cities sought him out. Obi had always taken pride in his work. He saw each piece of furniture as an extension of his soul, something that could last for generations, passing down stories and memories to future owners. His attention to detail was unparalleled, and he never rushed his work. He would spend days, even weeks, perfecting a single chair, ensuring that every joint was precise, every curve graceful, and every finish flawless. But Obi's skills went beyond craftsmanship. His character was what truly set him apart. He was honest, hardworking, and never sought to deceive anyone. His customers, in turn, admired and trusted him. They would speak of him to others, and soon Obi's name became a symbol of excellence in the world of furniture making. One day, while Obi was carving intricate designs into a wooden chest, a carriage arrived at his workshop. It was pulled by two majestic horses, and the driver was dressed in fine attire. The carriage door opened, and out stepped a woman of extraordinary beauty. She was tall, with dark eyes that gleamed like the midnight sky, and long, flowing black hair that cascaded down her back. Her clothes were elegant, made of luxurious fabrics, and her presence seemed to make the entire workshop glow with an ethereal light. "Greetings, Obi," she said in a voice that was both soft and commanding. "I have heard of your extraordinary craftsmanship. My name is Ada, and I come with a proposal." Obi looked up from his work, surprised at her sudden appearance but intrigued by her words. Ada introduced herself as a woman of wealth and influence, with a husband who was a successful businessman with vast estates. She explained that her husband was looking for someone with exceptional skill to create an entirely new set of furniture for their mansion. It was a contract unlike any Obi had ever been offered, an opportunity to work on a grand scale, to create pieces that would be admired by the elite of society. Obi, though modest, was flattered. He had always dreamed of reaching a wider audience with his work, of having his creations seen and appreciated by people who truly understood fine craftsmanship. Ada told him that her husband would be happy to meet him and discuss the details. She offered to bring him to their estate that evening. The offer was too good to pass up, and Obi, filled with excitement and curiosity, agreed. That evening, Obi dressed in his best clothes, his heart pounding with anticipation. He had never worked for someone of such wealth and stature before. The mansion Ada had mentioned was located on the outskirts of the village, at the foot of a towering mountain. As Obi approached the gates, he marveled at the opulence of the estate. The house was a grand structure, with tall, intricate columns and large windows that reflected the glow of the setting sun. A wide stone pathway led to the main door, where Ada was waiting to greet him. "Welcome, Obi," she said with a warm smile. "Come inside. My husband is eager to meet you." The interior of the mansion was even more breathtaking. Rich tapestries adorned the walls, and the floors were covered in plush rugs. There was a feeling of calm elegance in the air, as though time moved differently in this place. Ada led Obi through several rooms, each one more luxurious than the last, until they arrived at a door at the far end of the hallway. "This is where you'll meet my husband," she said softly, opening the door. "Please come in." Obi stepped inside, but what he saw left him speechless. The room was vast, much larger than any ordinary room, and it seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. The floor was made of smooth, gleaming stone, and the walls shimmered as though they were made of liquid. A faint, melodic sound, like the gentle hum of water, filled the air. The room seemed to stretch out endlessly, and in the center stood a tall figure, dressed in flowing robes made of deep blue fabric that seemed to change color with every movement. The figure turned to face Obi, and as he did, Obi felt an undeniable pull in his chest. The man's eyes were deep and dark, like the depths of the ocean, and they seemed to pierce through Obi's very soul. "I am the Lord of the Waters," the man said in a voice that resonated with a quiet power. "And you, Obi, have been chosen." Ada smiled knowingly, stepping back to stand beside her husband. Obi, still in shock, tried to speak, but words failed him. The Lord of the Waters extended his hand, and with it, the air around Obi seemed to shift. "You are not here by accident, Obi," the Lord continued. "I have been watching you for some time. You are a master of your craft, and I have a task for you. A task that will bring you untold wealth and recognition. But there is a price. You will work for me, not on earth, but in my kingdom beneath the water. You will create pieces of furniture like no one has ever seen, crafted from materials that exist only in the depths." Obi, though stunned, could not deny the allure of the offer. A part of him, deep within, felt a strange connection to the water, as though he had always belonged there. "I accept," Obi said, unable to resist the temptation. The Lord of the Waters led Obi into the heart of his kingdom. Obi could hardly believe his eyes as he gazed around him. The workshop was located at the bottom of the ocean, surrounded by glowing coral reefs, schools of fish that glimmered like stars, and towering kelp forests that swayed with the current. The light filtering through the water was soft and magical, and Obi felt a sense of peace settle over him. The Lord handed Obi a set of tools unlike any he had ever seen. The metal glowed with an inner fire, and the wood was as smooth and flawless as marble. With these tools, Obi began to craft. He built chairs that seemed to hum with life, tables that sparkled with a soft radiance, and cabinets that held an air of ancient wisdom. The materials he used were unlike anything he had ever touched before. Magical wood, fabrics spun from the finest seaweed, and metals that shimmered like the scales of a fish. As Obi worked, he felt something change within him. His hands moved faster, more skillfully than ever before. The work seemed effortless, as though the very essence of the kingdom was flowing through him. He crafted more than furniture. He crafted wonders, pieces that seemed to transcend time and space. The Lord of the Waters watched in silence as Obi worked. When the job was complete, the Lord smiled. "You have done well, Obi. You have created pieces that will last for eternity," he said. "Now, for your reward." The Lord handed Obi a chest filled with gold, jewels, and rare artifacts, riches beyond Obi's wildest dreams. But just as quickly as he had been taken to the kingdom, Obi found himself back on Earth, the chest of treasures in his hands. At first, Obi's return to the surface was a triumph. He was greeted as a hero, and his fame spread even further. His business flourished, and his creations were in high demand. But there was a dark side to his success. On the 7th day of every month, Obi would become consumed by an uncontrollable madness. His eyes would glaze over, and he would rave like a madman, speaking in strange, unintelligible tongues. He would pace frantically, and his body would tremble as though he were being pulled by an unseen force. People began to notice. His customers, once loyal, grew afraid of him. His fame began to tarnish, and his business, once booming, began to crumble. On the 7th day of each month, Obi would disappear into the wilderness, unable to control the madness that took hold of him. The beautiful furniture he created seemed to lose its luster, and even the treasures he had received from the Lord of the Waters could not cure him. Obi's life, once filled with promise, was now consumed by an unrelenting spiral of madness and despair. The price of his ambition was greater than he had ever imagined, and the marine kingdom, which had promised him everything, had instead taken away his peace of mind, leaving him lost in a world of torment. The legend of Obi, the master craftsman, became a tale told by many, a warning of the dangers of reaching too high, of accepting bargains without understanding the cost. And on the 7th day of each month, Obi's name would be whispered in the wind, a reminder of the price paid for ambition that went too far.